Who better to fight for sharing and fast-tracking the latest cancer research than a cancer survivor herself? Our next guest, Kathy Guisti, is the founder and chairman of the Multiple Myeloma Research Foundation, and she's recently been named a Fortune magazine Greatest World Leader, a number 19 on a very impressive 50-person list that includes the Dalai Lama, for her work breaking down the barriers to collaboration for cancer research. Kathy, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Can you start by telling us about your personal experience with cancer?
Sure. I was diagnosed with multiple myeloma when I was 37, and that was back in 1996. And at the time, there were really no treatments for the disease, and I was told that I would live about 3 years, and it was 100% fatal.
Oh my goodness, and
Yeah.
look at you now.
I know.
So obviously your experience there is what inspired you to create MMRF, correct?
Right. I was so devastated when I saw that there were no drugs in the pipeline for multiple myeloma at the time. And as someone who was working in the pharmaceutical industry and running worldwide operations in a company like Merck and then Searle, I thought, oh my gosh, we have to do something to jumpstart the pipeline and get some things going in these uncommon cancers.
And look at all you've achieved so far. Can you tell us about some of the barriers you've broken down already?
Well, what we found is, especially with the uncommon types of cancer, whether it's brain tumors, pancreatic, liver, or multiple myeloma, which is a blood cancer, you have to find ways to build critical mass of tissue and data and patients that can enter into clinical trials. So what we did at the Multiple Myeloma Research Foundation was we said, we are going to spearhead collaborative efforts. So we were the first to build our own tissue bank, and that now has 4,000 samples for all scientists to use. And then we used those samples, so we were the first to sequence our own genome in multiple myeloma. And then we said, wow, we need to build our own clinical network. So we did that, 21 centers strong, and we fielded over 50 clinical trials of 25 different drugs.
Amazing. And what would you still like to see happen? What barriers need to be pulled down?
Well, the biggest barrier is the fact that in cancer, what you have to do is keep breaking these diseases down into smaller and smaller subtypes. So whether you have breast cancer or lung cancer, all of these diseases have many types of cancer within each of them. So when you do that, you need lots of data and lots of tissue that you're evaluating to say how many subtypes and what combination of treatments is best for each patient. That means we need lots of patients, lots of data, and we want all of that data put into an open access world where every scientist can look at it together and work in a team.
And I would think this makes total sense, though. Do you encounter any resistance to this idea?
Oh, the system is so challenged right now. It's an old system, right? So many scientists have to publish, and then they also have to do so much work in terms of filling out grants. It's not an easy or nimble system for them to work in. So what we had to do was build a new system on top of it that said, you know what, we're going to create models where all of you can work together, and we will facilitate those models and put all of our data out into an open access world.
Well, Kathy, we wish you the best of luck, because if you succeed, we all succeed. So thank you so much for all the work you're doing.